The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Hello, hello, hello. It's been a while, Mags. Well, it's been 1 week, but it feels like a long time, doesn't it?
It does. It's you feel out of sync and you feel like you forgot everything that you're meant to do.
Well, you say about forgetting everything you're meant to do. I haven't actually forgotten something here. I genuinely don't think I know how. I'd have figured it out. But this week, for this show, it was the other way around, wasn't it, with regards to us arriving on time? Because
that's it. That's because of the week off. I wasn't prepared, and time got away from me. I had to run around like a blue-ass fire.
Right, because the little clock that says you go live in was down to 3 minutes, and I was sat in the studio on my own thinking, shit. And I started thinking, right, okay, how do I play the intro? How do I do this? How do I do that?
I assume, and I'm just going to check now, I'm assuming you messaged me to say, where the fuck are you? Yeah, you did, essentially. Dude.
Yeah.
Basically bricking yourself.
I was just sat there like, he'll be here in a minute. He'll be here in a minute. It's 3 minutes left. Oh, my word. You know?
I didn't let you down.
You did not, mate. You did not. I had faith in you. Of course I did. Of course I did. Yes, sickness took us last Monday, didn't it, Magsy? I was under the weather, messaged you to say, I might have to postpone, mate. I feel like shite. And you messaged me back basically saying that you were dying.
Pretty much. I literally said the same. The absolute same. COVID, yet again, has just ruined me. And I've had one of the family members catches a cold. That means I instantly get the cold and I get it worse than they do. So, yeah, it's just been a rough, shitty couple of weeks in terms of health. But we struggle on. I weren't missing the Christmas episode for Love No Money.
The Christmas, well, you see, you say that the Christmas episode, but we're not okay. The non-wrestling topic is Christmas based, I guess, but it's not like we've really made an effort for Christmas this year, is it?
I think it's because it's exactly a week before Christmas, so our episode would have fell on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So you don't get that kind of build up to it being in the Christmas week. So yeah,
this is true. This is true. You got to work between Christmas and New Year, Magsy?
It's permanent, yeah, all the time.
So
you?
Yeah, I got to go in.
Are you on a shutdown?
Well, every other place I've worked at that's like manufacturing based or anything like that has a shutdown. This place don't.
Yeah.
Because I'm the new guy, everyone else has got it booked off. So I've basically got to go in on a freaking Todd for 3 days to run whatever they want me to run. And I'm thinking, that sucks ass. I don't want to do that.
Is it no double or like time and a half?
Is it bollocks? No.
Merry Christmas, one and all.
There you go. I've already booked it off next year, though. Haha.
Started getting ahead of everyone.
Indeed, mate. Well, to be fair, the guy I work with, there's 2 of us in our section, and then there's like my boss above that, and then his boss above that, and they're the 4 guys I have the most dealings with. But the 2 that work in my section, the other guy, he's retiring in April. So
yeah, I think you've mentioned it before.
Yeah, so I've booked it off. So whoever replaces him is going to have to work it. Tough shit, really. I ain't doing it next year. I don't want it.
I hope they get a 10 pin. I hope they get a 10 pin over Christmas next year, and you just have a stockpile of work to catch up on.
Wow, my holiday's already been approved, mate. And I've booked a couple of days off the other side of it as well. So rather than going back on the 2nd, I've got a couple of days off that side instead. So, and the kids are still off that week as well. So that'll work out all right.
Yeah.
Indeed, mate. Indeed. But we should crack on, I feel, because we've got wrestling to talk about, our non-wrestling topic to talk about. We have, of course, got to throw a couple of things into the Chain Wrestling Hall of Fame, which I'm looking forward to, because this week, a little bit of a spoiler alert, I've picked my first actual wrestler to go into the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Wow. So you run out of other ideas and thought, I'm gonna have to start going like a traditional Hall of Fame now.
Yeah, I had a couple of other ideas, but we'll get to that shortly. But anyway, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live with Mags and Si, an SJP World Media production, episode 141, I think. I am Si, and with me, as always, is the victory road to my backlog of editing. It's a shitload. See, and that's clever, Magsy. That was good, wasn't it? You having that one?
Awful.
Shut down, not bad at all. The six-sided ring to my shwing, because Velvet Sky was on this. So you say that was terrible, but you've laughed at both.
That was amazing. Wow. Look at you. Garth Elgar.
There we go, mate. Fucking trendsetters they were. It was 1992 and they were streaming from their basement.
Stop. I've got a terrible throat. Do you want this episode to be full of me coughing? No. Don't start being funny now.
After 140 episodes, don't you dare find your funny now. A podcaster who I hope is feeling better. The podfather himself, Lord Mags. And he's coughing his guts up already. Oh, dear me.
You started me off. You made me laugh. I'm going to cough. Aside from the being ill, it's been a jolly fun couple of weeks in the Mags household. I'm hoping we're going to get some Christmassy weather soon, though, because it's been a bit grim in terms of weather. But yeah, everything's fan-dabby-dozy.
Snow, Magsy? You a fan of snow?
I don't mind it. I like it when it's fresh, but when it gets like trodden in and it's all slipping ass, and then it's a bit shitty. But yeah, snow. Yeah, I don't mind snow.
Yeah, I've been told that if it snows, I'll say I've been told, it's actually in my contract, mate. If it snows whilst I'm at work and they have to send us home, we get paid.
And so, that will never ever happen.
The reason it's been put in is because it has happened in the past, and everyone was umming and ahhing whether they could go home or not. So now it's been put into people's contracts. So I'm thinking, I fancy a bit of that.
A snow day. I fancy a snow day.
Even though I only live 20 minutes away, I can't get in. I just can't.
I think you've got to get in to qualify for the day's pay, though.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I'll get home okay, but getting back is the snow here. The way the wind blows off the hill is very tricky in one direction. That's all it is. You know?
Niall, Zane, and Harry.
What's that? Oh, One Direction. That was terrible. As were they. Maxie, we're going to be a bit thin on the ground in the chat today, I feel.
Yeah, we've got a lot of skivers this week. How dare other podcasts book our audience?
Absolutely.
Cheeky bastards.
When we've done them a solid. Yeah, we've done them a solid, and we've gone back on their pub quiz for a second time, which comes out as we record this live tonight. It comes out tomorrow. If you're listening to the audio version later in the week, it would have come out already. Morty and Fitch podcast last Tuesday. We've done them a solid, jumped on their show to bump their ratings up again for them. Yeah, because we're a draw. Obviously, we're a fucking draw.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, we're not that much of a draw because half of our audience has fucked off to do a pub quiz.
On the plus side, it does mean that the podcast numbers will be up quite a bit this week. Because what I've noticed, what I've noticed is, numbers and that it's not obsessive, but it's always interesting just having a little look, isn't it? And what I've noticed is since we've been doing the live shows at 8:30, the numbers have split virtually 50-50 for the podcast and the live, which is quite interesting. Again, it's just something or nothing, really, but it's just interesting to see.
Before that, was the podcast listens higher than the YouTubes?
Yeah, normally.
Okay.
Normally. Some weeks would be different. Some weeks, going to 8:30 is split virtually 50-50. Okay, I don't know why that is, but there we go.
It's probably more accessible due to time, especially when we go long.
Well, this is it. And also, people watching the show after we've been live, so going back and watching it on YouTube after the case, which is fascinating to me because me personally, it sounds silly saying this because we're on our own live broadcast now. I prefer the audio version because then I've tinkered around with it and put all the music and the sound effects in and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
But people go back and watch it on YouTube later in the week, which I find quite interesting as well.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you're at work and you're at a computer, you can have it on like as background audio. I
Yeah,
suppose. Well,
yeah,
there
that's
is
true.
that. But yeah, I mean, if you're on the go, the podcast version would be ideal. So yeah, it's interesting that we get pretty much the same views as we do listens. So yeah, it's cool. That and it's available on all platforms.
It is indeed, mate. It is indeed. I burnt my mic earlier, Max. Right there. What are you laughing at now?
What did you burn it on? Some noodly woogles?
No. Have you ever seen these? Like they're sort of like breaded chicken balls, but they got sauce in the middle. Have you ever seen these?
Like Kievs.
Yeah, but bigger. They're probably about the size of a golf ball.
Kievs are bigger than a golf ball.
No,
like mini Kievs.
Well, yeah, no, you got mini Kievs, but then you get proper big Kievs as well. But these are like, yeah, they're like the size of a golf ball, and you can buy
like
them
a
with
Scotch egg.
Yeah, pretty much, but it's chicken.
Right. I know. With sauce in the middle instead of an egg.
Yeah.
I mean, egg technically is chicken.
It is. This is true. But you wouldn't have that. Would you have egg inside a chicken ball? That'd be weird, wouldn't it?
That would be weird.
Yeah. But anyway, they do like barbecue sauce in them. They do sweet and sour sauce in them. And as I mentioned on the show the other week, I did the food shop most recently when I was, shall we say, under the influence. and these things, I saw these things on the Iceland shop, and I was like, "Oh, look at that! Chip shop curry sauce flavor inside a chicken ball." And I thought that sounds banging. I mean, don't get me wrong. The moment it arrived,
that right now.
Oh yeah. But the moment I looked at it when it arrived, literally everyone in the house, even Liv, who's really keen on this sort of stuff, was just basically going, "Yeah, what is that? What is?" But I had some tonight, and they were okay. They weren't as good as I was hoping. They were okay, but the sauce is like fucking lava, mate. It is like, oh my
no air to let the temperature out.
And so naturally, I grabbed the whole one and just chucked it straight in my gob.
because why not? Why test in case they boil it out? Just wing it.
Yeah, bit it, and all the sauce came out and went like that corner bit in my mouth just there. Where there's not really.
It's burnt the hair away.
Shit. Oh my god, it is so sore, mate. It is so sore. It's gonna look like the wife's hit me or something tomorrow when it like comes out red. You know.
You are a fucking idiot.
Thank you very much. We do have a couple of comments from people joining us in the chat. Shall we scan through and then get on with our first segment, Mags?
Yes, we shall. So first we have Connor trying to abuse the fact that I read all the comments out. But I'll do it since it's Christmas. He has put, Lord Mags. This is definitely not me who's put this. Just putting that out there. Lord Mags declared that on this day, December 18th, in the year of our Lord 2023, that your 2023 MLS Cup champions, Columbus Crew, is, I think he meant the greatest team the world has ever seen. So again, I don't agree with that statement. I'm just reading it as Connor wrote it. But Connor, thanks for your comment and glad to see you. Next, one of the tosspots who's ditched us to go on some other fucker's podcast. So do you know what? I'm putting stupidly agreed to do a pub quiz with a couple of cunts whose names rhyme with 40 and Mitch. But I will catch the audio. Merry Christmas, CWF. Fuck you, Dan Griffin. I hope you have a shitty Christmas. I hope you get the shits on Christmas Day. I hope you get the shits. And a happy New Year.
And he has to eat his Christmas dinner with one of those trays that you have when you have your breakfast in bed, balanced on his lap on the toilet because he can't get up.
I hope he's actually around the table and all his family there, and they're all pulling crackers and having a good time, and then he shits himself. that proper dirty river shits himself. Like that mudslide.
Like that scene in The Inbetweeners where Will's in the exam.
And he's, Phil.
Phil.
Yeah, exactly like that.
And then his whole family just like
safe.
His whole family just start going, because of the smell.
It causes a Family Guy type of sickathon where everyone's just throwing up all over.
Yeah, there's just fucking turkey,
But,
Brussels sprouts,
well,
and vomit.
Love you, Dan. Hope you do have a Merry Christmas. Twat. Sharon, the first lady of the CWF and the SJP World Media, says it's Monday night. You know what that means. We do. It means it's time for chain wrestling, Dan Griffin, and King's Pigs Bladders. Chain wrestling, shitheads. Connor is back again, saying, "Hello, you handsome blokes." And Sharon says, "I probably have punched you in your sleep."
Probably.
Yeah.
We've established before that I snore, right? And I snore more if I've had a few beers, but I do snore. Okay. If I sleep on this side, which is facing away from the wife, my snoring's not it's not as bad, and I'm snoring in a different direction to where she is. So it's like the most preferred option, right? I woke up the other day and my neck and my shoulder are absolutely caning. And I twigged this because every night now I go to bed that way to make sure I try not to disturb her, that I've just hurt myself.
Wow. See the things you do for love, though.
I know.
And she's put, "I probably have punched you in your sleep." One time, Mrs. Maggs has kicked and punched me black and blue whilst in asleep. And then another time, she woke up and she was properly angry at me. And she couldn't remember why. Later in the day, after she'd blanked me all day, not spoken to me at all, she said, "I realised why I was mad at you. Because you did something in my dream."
Brilliant.
And I in real life, got the cold shoulder all day because of that. So
that's fantastic.
Wives are twats as well. So not only Griffins and pig bladders, but also wives. Sharon is loving the fact that I wish Dan Griffin brown underpants for Christmas. And Sharon says, "That's a lie. I make you face that way so you don't snore in my face."
Oh, okay. I thought it was because I was. Well, yeah, I'm snoring away from you. That's what I said, wasn't it?
So do you regularly fall asleep after Sharon?
It depends. Normally in the week, I'm in bed first.
When you're not pissed, obviously. When you're pissed, you're gone.
Yeah. Normally in the week, I'm in bed first because I'm up early for work. Look, so, and then at the weekend, it depends really. On a Friday and a Saturday this weekend, I was up later than Shah. But then if there's NFL on, like especially if the Cowboys are playing and they're the 1:30 in the morning kickoff, Sharon will stay up and watch football. I'll normally go to bed before her then, you see. So, but yeah, normally during the week, I'm in bed before Sharon is, yeah.
Okay. So does Sharon talk in her sleep?
She has done. Not for a long time, but she has done in the past.
Oh, I've had full-blown conversations with Lorraine, Mrs. Maggs.
Have you?
Seriously, I can reply to what she says and she will reply back, and then I have no memory of it in the middle of the night.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So yeah, again, wives are twats.
That's
the chat all caught up.
I end up having a battle with cats as well. In the winter, especially in the summer, they're out and about, isn't they? They don't care, you know. But in the winter, it's shocking. You know the psycho cat that we talk about, Coco, the little one, who's actually the mum of some of the others, and you know she's got this collection of dead mouse butts down the alleyway and all that sort of stuff. She has decided that she is going to be super cute and lovely and nice and be really cuddly to Sharon at bedtimes. So she's like climbing up on Sharon's chest. She'll go to sleep on her neck and she's proper cuddly and all that. And then we've got Ozzy, the old boy. He gets into bed with Sharon on one side. And then Lemmy, the ginger knobhead, he gets to sleep elsewhere in the bed. I end up, Sharon in the chat, it's the only pussy he gets in bed.
Wow.
Fucking hell. But I end up with our bed's, it's not a double, it's wider than that. But our bed, I end up with like
queen.
Yes, I think so. I end up with like a fucking. I mean, I'm amazed somebody as fat as me can fit into the space that I'm given.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have to balance on the edge of the bed whilst Lorraine starfishes.
Yeah. Oh no. This thing. Sharon doesn't starfish, but she lies in a funny way to make room for the cats on the other side of her. Right, but the cats won't move, mate. They just they're dead. They just go dead weight.
Human in a tiny gap. Cats with 3/4 of a bed.
Yeah, and then Sharon can't move because she's got another cat actually on her normally, as well.
Fuck that.
But she loves it, mate. She loves it.
Well,
You know,
she's not wired. She does say that we don't talk about the Cowboys this week, and that's because they got absolutely pecker slapped by the Buffalo Bills yesterday.
is that what you were Googling just then?
Yeah.
Well, I saw you looking at your screen.
31-10. The absolute sacks of shit.
You are really spicy this evening, aren't you?
It's because you're getting a good break over Christmas and New Year. So I'm going to get all the venom out tonight so you remember how bad I am.
Dear me. Okay. Magsy, shall we try and be a bit more positive, though?
No, we shan't.
I was thinking we should chuck some stuff into the Hall of Fame, that was all.
Okay, then. Seeing as it's Christmas.
Sharon in the chat. That's fucking brilliant.
Are you seriously trying to piss off one of your viewers? The irony is we get the viewer marker in the corner, and that's genuinely 50% of the people viewing this live. So sorry, Sharon. Fuck the Buffalo Bills.
Don't go, Sharon.
Butcher cunt.
The Super Bowl this year as well is like the night before my birthday. So that's going to be quite interesting.
Oh, so she's not going to celebrate your birthday. It's going to be Happy Super Bowl.
Oh yeah. She'll still watch Super Bowl, of course. But yeah, I think I don't follow it intently, but Sharon's into it, so I'm interested because my wife loves it and she loves the Cowboys and all that. But the Cowboys are doing really well, so it'd be nice if they made the Super Bowl. Yeah, because they haven't together. Sorry,
they are America's team, aren't they? As well, that's what they're called.
Yeah, apparently. Dolly Parton sang on their halftime show the other week. Did you see this?
Wow, no.
She had all the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders out in front of her doing like a routine, and she sang 9 to 5 and a couple of others of her big hits.
Is that the win-loss record?
No. But she had like these tiny little shorts on, this tiny little crop top on. I'm looking and I'm thinking, I think she's pretty much the same age as my nan. No, that's not. No. My nan is older. That's harsh, but she's in her 70s, isn't she, Dolly Parton? Isn't she like 77?
Could your nan breastfeed a creche?
What?
Dolly Parton.
This is true.
She's blessed, isn't she? But Jesus,
she's blessed with money to pay for them.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Anyway, Maxie, enough about Jolly. She is very jolly. She's very happy. Dolly Parton's boobs. What are you throwing into the Hall of Fame this week, mate?
Oh, this week is a simple one for me. I should have really put it in way before now. But think about the Dudley Boys, the Usos, the Hart Foundation, Demolition, Legion of Doom, Edge and Christian, the Hardys, the New Age Outlaws, tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best tag teams in the history of the business. And I fucking love tag team wrestling. I think it's one of the art forms of wrestling that you don't necessarily need a storyline or a feud going on for a tag team to be able to tell a brilliant story in the ring. From the face in peril, the heels dominating, the hot tag, the crowd going wild, tag team maneuvers, keeping the referee distracted. Tag team wrestling can give you everything that you need in a wrestling match. I absolutely, I've loved tag team wrestling since the day I got into wrestling with the Legion of Doom, and it hurts when you see that WWE kind of overlook their tag team division. They've always gone through periods where tag teams were an afterthought, and Vince had the mindset of, why I pay 4 people when I can just pay for 2. But for me, tag team wrestling will always have a massive soft spot in my heart. So I'm more than happy to put tag team wrestling into the Hall of Fame. So for me this week, it's the art of tag team wrestling.
Yeah, and I think it is definitely an art. The way you describe, well, pro wrestling to me is an art anyway, but tag team wrestling done properly. You know, the timing of the hot tags, the timing of teasing the hot tags, the baby faces getting worked on, you know, cutting off the ring, as Arn and Tuddy used to quite famously say, you know, they were experts at it and so on, you know. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And it is such a different way of doing things. And I think such an important part of pro wrestling for so long. I mean, you mentioned there the WWE not taking it seriously. It's ironic, really, because so many of their pay-per-views back in the golden era were headlined by tag team matches. The first WrestleMania was a tag team match.
Yeah.
You know, SummerSlam 88 and 89 were tag matches. They were the main events there.
How many of their biggest storylines have involved wrestlers that they've put together as tag teams? I mean, Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels thrown together as tag teams. Undertaker and Kane thrown as tag teams. Hogan and Macho Man thrown together as a tag team. It's just such a beautiful way of presenting a wrestling product. I absolutely adore it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I absolutely love it. And again, we see, you know, I wouldn't say a revival of tag wrestling. It hasn't really gone away. There's always been places to find it, I guess. TNA had a good tag team scene for a while. Ring of Honor had a good tag team scene for a while. But you see teams like some of the teams in New Japan, some of the teams in the 90s in All Japan, and so on. And then on the indies as well, like the Bucks and Motor City Machine Guns coming through TNA and so on. There's always been, even when it's been thin on the ground, you could still find great tag team wrestling somewhere, and it always is so exciting and sets it apart from everything else. So yeah, I completely agree with you, Maxie. Great show for tag team wrestling.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Somebody who I don't agree with, very quickly, I do need to bring this up, is our young friend Connor in the chat here. He says the Cowboys haven't been relevant since the mid to late 90s, and then he lists some players that played for them there. And I'm thinking, why even do you need to say
poke
this?
The bear? Yeah, why poke the bear?
Why?
Connor?
My wife adores Dallas Cowboys, loves her NFL in the same way that you adore Columbus Crew and love your MLS. I mean, you mentioned in your next comment that you think they won 2 Super Bowls in that time. Columbus Crew have only won 1 title, but we'll move on from that. You know, it's the same sort of fanatical, you know, adoration, isn't it? So, yeah. I mean, stop being so rude and naughty, Connor.
Just because you don't support a winning team or a team that wins a lot of trophies doesn't mean you can't have love for him. I mean, Burnley don't win that many trophies. Gloucester City never, ever won any trophies ever, but you still have the love for him, don't you?
Did you have to say ever that many times?
I mean, their trophy cabinet is very Tottenham-like, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of participation trophies in.
I don't know what happened to it, to be fair, because obviously it was in the old clubhouse and then it got hit with the floods. And there were trophies in there
because there was no ballast inside it; just floated away.
Yeah, there's no weight.
Down
there's no weight in it. It's just air.
Wooden glass.
My entrant into the Chain Wrestling Hall of Fame this week. It's funny because my initial selection was going to be inspired by the match that we watched. And my actual selection has ended up being inspired by the match we watched. But my initial selection was going to be a moment in wrestling. And as soon as this popped in my head, I thought it's so iconic and it gets replayed all the time. The Mick Foley getting thrown off the top of the cell by The Undertaker, I think is worthy of a spot in our Hall of Fame because it is such an incredible moment. It's a great match and so on. But as soon as I started thinking about the match that we watched today for this recording, I couldn't get past Kurt Angle and just how good this guy was in an era where the likes of Austin, Triple H, The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, and so on were on top in WWE. He would sometimes work on top. He would sometimes work lower down the card. I think it sounds silly to say, but in some ways, he almost goes under the radar at times. When you look at you know, the top guys from that era of WWE that he was, you know, quite prominent in, because Lesnar was coming to the fore, and obviously Angle played a huge part in that. Stone Cold was still around and was like, you know, the invasion storyline and all that sort of stuff. But I think when you look through Kurt's career, he just got it from the moment he walked into the WWE. He just got it, and everything he did was just so good. I look at pro wrestling, or the style of different pro wrestlers, and I don't want to, you know, be too specific with labels, but for the nature of describing what I like about Angle, I suppose I have to be. You get guys who are, shall we say, more technically mat based, and Kurt Angle, Bret Hart pops into my mind when I say about that. Someone who wrestles in that sort of style. We get people who are obviously a lot more, you know, they're more aerial style, especially nowadays, you know, lucha libre and all that sort of stuff. We were familiar with. We get guys who are more brawling style and so on, and then we get guys who are, you know, do their best work as a heel. Some guys do their best work as a babyface. Some guys are known predominantly as tag team wrestlers. Some guys win mid card titles and never rise up to the main event picture, and so on. Kurt could do all of it. Kurt could brawl with Austin. Kurt could wrestle with the likes of Benoit. Kurt had some of the greatest matches I've ever seen with Shawn Michaels, who, again, I suppose comes under an all-rounder like Kurt was himself, I guess. And on top of that, he could work babyface and be believable. He could work heel, and you genuinely hated the guy. You know, he had some fantastic tag team combinations when he was working with Benoit and so on, and Team Angle and all that sort of stuff. He could wrestle big guys like Taker and Lesnar and Kane, and it'd be fantastic. And then he'd have barnstormers against the likes of Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman on SmackDown on one occasion, the smaller cruiserweights. And then on top of that, the guy can talk. I think Shawn Michaels, as I keep saying, is my all-time favorite pro wrestler. Ric Flair's up there with him as well. And when I was on Badlands podcast with your good self, Magsy, and we picked my Mount Rushmore, Angle was my third choice on there as one of my best of all time. I think you look at someone who can tick all the boxes. Shawn is still my favorite, but Kurt's up there as, I think, one of the greatest to ever do this. And I think it's just such a shame that we never had him in WWE or in TNA as well, I guess, drug-free and fully fit for longer. I feel that the length of his career is maybe the only thing that hinders him with regards to being compared to some of the other greats in this business. But my entrant, just purely because of how much entertainment the guy has given me from a pure wrestling standpoint, not to mention even the great comedy work he's done, my entrant to the Chain Wrestling Hall of Fame this week is Kurt Angle.
Yeah, you have absolutely nailed it. And to be quite honest, I was contemplating my first wrestler to go into the Hall of Fame being Kurt Angle. Because for everything that you just said, he was someone who just from the minute he stepped into a wrestling ring, he got the business. He was just so consistently good. You can name dozens of amazing Kurt matches, but you can hardly name one that was bad.
Yeah.
The guy could wrestle any style. Like you said, he played the perfect heel, but not just the perfect heel in terms of comedy, but the perfect dickhead, horrible, evil heel.
Mm-hmm.
But then a week later, switch and be the most loved babyface. He was just phenomenally good. And I think you're right. He goes under the radar so much. He should be a first ballot Mount Rushmore entrant. He's just that damn good. So it's a brilliant pick. Absolutely brilliant pick.
Well, thank you very much. So those are your entrants into the Chain Wrestling Hall of Fame this week. We have the art that is tag team wrestling, and we have the genius that is Kurt Angle. Magsy, I suppose now we should really... Well, we've got a comment from Sharon in the chat saying, fuck you, Mags. They're 10-4 in the playoffs.
That's rude. I was just trying to be comical in light of the fact that you're so triggered by this, Sharon. So for you to keep being triggered that's a reflection on you and not on me. Take it as the comedy that it's meant to be. Just like the The Cowboys are the laughing stock of NFL. We're the laughing stock of wrestling podcasts.
Ahoy!
Yeah, well, we're the skid mark on the underpants of wrestling podcasts.
Nice. Okie doke. Shall we dive into our non-wrestling topic, Magsy?
Let's go for it.
NWT time. Oh, no wrestling talk here. It's the non-wrestling topic.
Lovely.
Nice. Lovely. Nice.
Ooh, lovely.
Lovely.
This week's non-wrestling topic. Did I come in on time then? Was my mic still muted? Has it gone all wrong?
No, you're absolutely fine. Well, as fine as to be expected.
Excellent. Okay. This week's non-wrestling topic, well, last week's non-wrestling topic, I guess, was simply this. What do you want for Christmas? And it can be as daft, as ludicrous, and as broad as you may wish it to be. We have quite a few responses dotted around the place again, but I'm not sure if I've got them all, Magsy. So if I miss any, please make sure you let me know.
I shall.
And we shall go through them in the order they arrived into us, which is a bit of a lie because I screenshotted these in a different order. So we'll just see which way we go. Might end up being completely in order, Magsy, like last time.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Oh, we're already off by one, but we're not far off, mate, because I've got
Brilliant.
at Trey Butler, we're starting with, which is the second one down on your little doofer there. He says, United to finish 7th. But the arse nosebleed, that is, isn't it? Being that high at the table.
I mean, what a fucking come down. Do you remember when Man United were the best team in England?
I do remember this, yes.
Teams like decades.
Yes.
They're not a big club anymore, are they?
They are a big club still.
They're a big club financially and with a fan base, but in terms of winning things, the mid-table.
We are crap. We are crap.
With the players you've got as well, though. Jesus.
That injury list is ridiculous as well, though.
Oh, yeah. That's what I blame Burnley going down on. Their injury list.
Okay. Was it bad, was it?
No.
Just being sarcastic?
Yeah, it's excuses.
So you finished digging at the Columbus Crew and the Cowboys, now you're going to have a pop at me, are you? Is that the way we're going?
No, Man United, not just...
Matt Butler continues. Suella Braverman to choke to death? I don't know who that is.
Yep, I agree. She's the Home Secretary who hates immigrants and poor people.
Right. Okay.
So, and she's a prick. She's a full-on. She's a Nazi. She's as simple and clear as that. She says things that Hitler said when he was going to invade Poland.
Why? Okay.
That's not even a joke. She literally called immigrants a swarm and like vermin. Yeah, she's a prick.
Jeez.
She's genuinely is right wing. So yeah.
I agree then. And Matt also says to receive a Mr. Frosty slush maker that works.
I had one of those as a kid and they were badass.
Yeah, like the proper little white dude, yeah?
Yeah, and you turn it and all the ass comes out of the middle into your cup.
Didn't it get clogged up though? My mate had one, it kept getting clogged up.
It worked for about 3 weeks. 3 weeks or so, yeah. They weren't exactly the highest quality production, but they were cool. I don't know if I want one now.
But all the local shops have them now, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, literally, my corner shop has a
slushy machine. Yeah. Ours does as well.
Ours has probably a Costa as well. A Costa
does it? Oh, ours doesn't have Costa. But you get a slushy and stuff. It's probably laced with cocaine, mind. Knowing our local shop.
It's literally just sugar and flavouring and ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they're
Coke.
bad for you, but
Chris Bellis at Real Chris Bellis on Twitter. He says, I'd say for everybody to be healthy and happy. But that's a cop-out. I want an Xbox Series X.
Fair enough. I thought it was going the magnanimous route by saying everyone to be healthy and happy, but no. Selfish old Chris Bellis is looking out for himself and he wants an Xbox. Good on you.
Yeah, Fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
You deserve one.
A similar kind of vibe, I feel. We have at Pigs Bladders, the Photoshop wizard himself on Twitter here. He says, I'm a man of simple pleasures. There's not much I need or want, so I'd be happy with some much needed help making Christmas dinner. Oh, and a PS5.
Yep. PS5s over Xbox all day long. And good luck with your Christmas dinner. I don't know where he's got the photo of both me and you for that. That's quite worrying. So, are you all set for your Christmas dinner?
Sharon does it, man. I don't know. I peel stuff. I peel potatoes. I peel carrots. Whatever she wants me to do, but
yeah, we've decided on our Christmas Day meats, and we're having a beef joint, a leg of lamb, and turkey this year.
Okay, we have chicken.
I remember you telling me it's blasphemous.
Why is it? No, bollocks. Why is it blasphemous?
On your Christmas dinner.
Eh?
Next, you'll be saying you have broccoli and cauliflower on your Christmas dinner.
I would have if Sharon made that, but she doesn't.
No.
Well, does she? Do we have broccoli? I can't remember. But yeah, chicken's the best.
It's good, yeah, it's that. On 364 days of the year.
Right.
Just not the one Christmas day.
Why? No, but this is the thing. Roast dinners are banging. We all agree on that, don't we? Yeah. We all love a roast dinner. Yeah. Okay.
We do.
I love roast chicken. That's my favorite. Right. So on the biggest roast dinner of the year, which is Christmas dinner, why would you choose a blander, less tasty alternative to what you actually like just because it's apparently 20%? Fuck you, turkey. We're having chicken.
But you have 364 other days to have that chicken.
I don't have a roast every day.
No, but I'm saying you have the potential for that.
Right.
So
God, can you
one
imagine
day,
your guts having a roast every day?
it'd be worth it though.
It would.
It would be
Sharon.
worth it.
Oh, Sharon's roast, man. Fucking.
I mean,
banging.
with Christmas
So
falling
good.
on a Monday this year, you could potentially be having a Sunday roast on Christmas Eve and then your Christmas dinner on Christmas Day.
No, because we have on Christmas Eve we have gammon. Sharon does gammon in the slow cooker and all this sort of stuff, and it's lush. And then on Boxing Day we have Boxing Day curry, made up of like the meats and stuff and the whatever. So yeah, we could have a roast on the Sunday and then a Christmas dinner on the Monday this year. Wouldn't work out, mate.
No, but that sounds good. Gammon on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, she does well, man. She does well. Honestly, her roast dinners are banging. Her roast taters are fucking fantastic. My mouth's watering now talking about it.
Yeah, let's move on quickly.
Yeah. All the way from the other side of the world in Ramsey Street, we have Mr. Mangor at Mangor_Chris on Twitter. And he says, I'd like to wake up to Christmas 2017, at least before my family's health turned to shit. Oh, okay.
I think that's one that we can all agree on, though. When COVID and Brexit and the like destroyed the world for us, that would be a good to just turn the clock back a little bit.
Yeah, without a doubt, mate. I was thinking about it at work today, and it's just so much affected, wasn't it? Obviously, that goes without saying. It's an obvious statement, isn't it? Let's be honest. But when you really think about it, even like generations of kids spent certain formative years locked away in their bedrooms or locked away in their houses for like a year and a half, however long it was. And it's affecting people socially. It's affecting people's mental health. It's affecting people's immune system. At work now, today, there's barely anyone in today because so many people are phoned in sick. And the HR department are literally going, since COVID, no one's got an immune system.
Yeah, same. I have never been this sickler in all of my life. Never been this sickler. It's horrific. COVID has destroyed the world. Well, it's certainly destroyed big parts of Britain with how it's affected people. Like I said, not only just health, but mental wise as well. And yeah, it's going to take a long time before we get over this.
Yeah, without a doubt. A man of very few words, but we love him for it. Mr. Jimmy Evans at Jimmy Evans for Real on Twitter. He simply says he would like for Christmas Mortal Kombat for my Nintendo Switch.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's the most words he's ever put in a reply.
Yeah.
And we love him for it. So I hope
Still
you get
straight to the point. I love it.
I hope you get Mortal Kombat 1, Jimmy. Go and treat yourself. You deserve it.
Mortal Kombat 1?
Yeah.
Well, as in the original from the 90s?
No. It's so Mortal Kombat has gone through a bit of a transition over the years. It's gone from being just a standard fighter to now a storyline based one, and the current Mortal Kombat is split over different timelines. So this is a totally new timeline where all the characters have different backstories. So it's being called Mortal Kombat 1.
Okay. I remember the original Mortal Kombat. Because it was always Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, wasn't it? Because they're similar kind of, that sort of two-dimensional, one guy fights another guy, one-on-one kind of the energy bars at the top. And I loved Street Fighter. I absolutely adored Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Turbo, loved all those. Mortal Kombat, I didn't quite have the same love for because all the characters, it looked amazing. The graphics and so on for the time looked absolutely incredible. But all the characters basically did the same moves apart from their finishes.
No, that's not true.
They did.
Not really.
They did. They
plus,
were...
there was blood. Mortal Kombat had blood.
Yeah, that was true. Yeah, the splashing
unless
off.
Unless you had a Super Nintendo, then they all had green goo. But yeah, Mortal Kombat's finish. All the move sets were different.
No, I don't remember being that.
Yeah, they were.
No, I think all the punches were the same. The kicks were. It was just literally there when he goes finish him, and then you rag his spine out of his arsehole or whatever.
You're very much incorrect there, but.
Okay.
Let's agree to disagree.
Okay, fair enough. Connor at Connor Knows Footy says, I want to go on an adventure with the 11th Doctor and kick all kinds of Dalek, Cyberman, and Weeping Angel ass. And then he also
it's hard to kick the ass of the Weeping Angels because if you're looking at them, they're just statues.
Yeah. Could you sneak up behind a Weeping Angel? You couldn't, could you?
No, I mean, I suppose you could look at it and then circle around it.
But because even if you're looking at the back of its head, it's still frozen, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you can kick it in the ass.
Or chalk it.
Chalk it?
Yeah, chalk that.
Oh, choke. I thought you said chalk. As in,
that's what you
put a little black line on white line. And then you could chalk it. Connor was here on the back of the angel's head or something. Connor also says, I would also like to fly a real TARDIS. I'd probably deck it and get stuck in the 1600s, but it's worth it. Okay.
They're not really real though, Connor, so good luck with that.
This
I mean,
is true,
it's nice to have dreams, I suppose.
It is. It is, yes. I imagine, though, Connor being on an adventure with the Doctor and fighting Daleks and Cybermen and Weeping Angels, I imagine he wouldn't last long, would he?
No, he'd be a terrible Doctor's assistant.
I mean, I'd be dead within minutes. You know, if I could be bothered to do anything, if I was in the TARDIS and they were like, "Oh, we've landed. Let's go out and look. Let's go and look out here." I'd be like, "No, I've seen enough of this to know that never goes well." Whatever's on the other side of that door is probably dangerous. I'm gonna stay right here. They got a swimming pool in the TARDIS. They got a library. They must have a bar somewhere. I'm gonna be made up, mate. I'm saying. Cheers, Doc. But I'm staying
24 pack of Carlin. I'll stay here. You come back. I'll keep things on guard here inside the TARDIS. If the door's locked, just give me a couple of minutes and I'll add some.
That's it.
I am not going outside.
Knock a little ashtray up to sit on K9 or whatever, and he can drive around and follow me.
You just ride him like an absolute pony. You wouldn't even have to move him.
I'm too massive to sit on K9, so I imagine I'd have to stand on his back like I was surfing.
I think you'd sit on him like bitch, wouldn't you? Where both your legs are hanging over one side.
Yeah, like side saddle. I'd ride K9 side saddle. Max, I think that's all I've got. So have I missed any?
I don't think so. I think you picked up everyone. Unfortunately, it's the first time that I can remember that we don't have a Steve-O segment, which is a bit.
No, he did ask.
I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, he messaged earlier on actually when I said about us going live tonight, and he said, "What was the non-wrestling topic?" but then we didn't hear back off him. So I don't think
probably hates Christmas.
he probably does, mate. He probably does. Do you hate Christmas or do you like Christmas?
Well, I've made my feelings on Christmas abundantly clear. It doesn't interest me. I just don't get on with it, I suppose. I like it for the grandkids because their eyes are full of wonder, and I like the present giving, but I don't wait for an arbitrary day to get stuff that I want. If I want something, I'll get it as and when I want it, rather than wait 3 months to get it. So
fair enough. Fair enough. Okie doke. Shall we scan through the chat and see how much Connor's pissed everyone off? Or
can we not go through what things that we want for Christmas? That's a bit rude.
Oh yeah, go on then, Magsy. What do you want for Christmas?
Well, there was one thing that I actually definitely was looking forward to getting this year, and I just need to get the picture up. 1 second.
This isn't going to be smutty, is it?
No, how dare you? So I wanted one of these. It's called a PlayStation Portal. So essentially, it's a PlayStation 5 controller that has a screen in the middle, so you don't need it to be watching your TV. You can play it apparently on the go.
That doesn't look like a real thing.
It is a real thing. Yeah.
It looks like something that somebody's made up as a joke. It doesn't look real.
I get that, but it is actually genuinely a real product. So the thought behind me getting one of these was so if we're ever out or I'm on holiday or anything like that, and I'm bored, I can pick this up and crack on with Farming Simulator or Gran Turismo or whatever game I'm playing at that time. And then when I was looking at that, the information behind it, it only works over your home Wi-Fi. So if you look up there, so there it says it only works over your home Wi-Fi. So it's essentially, if someone else is watching the TV, you can still play on your PlayStation. Well, that's no good to me because I've got multiple TVs. If people want to watch TV, they can fuck off into another room.
Right. So
the fact that you couldn't use it on the go was useless to me. So this teased me though. It's like I now need to be able to play my PlayStation on the go. I need to be able to do it.
Okay.
So I had a scout around, and I got this. Now compare.
What the fuck is that?
Compare this little flimsy bit of plastic, and it looks absolutely nothing like a PlayStation Portal. But when you add 2 little elements to it, such as a phone that you have,
a PlayStation and a TV, yeah? Is it those 2 elements?
No. So that little plastic holds together an actual PlayStation controller and a phone, and you can play your PlayStation through the remote play app, and I can play this over Wi-Fi or I can play it over 5G, and it controls my PlayStation as I sit here now. I can literally play it on this phone, and this little gadget cost me £10.
Why?
That PlayStation Portal is 200 quid.
No way.
Yeah. So for less than the PlayStation Portal, I've got a machine that has way more features than the actual PlayStation one. So I got what I wanted for Christmas about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Oh, you can play this. It's portable, but you can't take it out your house. That's such a cop-out.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? It's got to be on your home Wi-Fi. You can take it to the garden, and that's it.
Yeah, that's silly.
So Sharon's put here, could you not just connect it to your mobile hotspot when you're out? Nope. It's got to be on the same Wi-Fi network as your PlayStation would be on.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Oh, man. For me, I don't know. I always say to Sharon, like, I'm not that arsed, you know? If I got a few beers to drink and something to listen to, I'm quite happy.
Yeah. Christmas for me is always about other people.
Yeah, so that's kind of. But then something has popped up, and it's not something that anyone I know can have any control over. But I go to a music festival every year, Maxie, as you're fully aware, called Stone Dead. We got our tickets. Me and the lads got our tickets again this year, pretty much like the week after the festival finished last year. So we got it for next year already. It's already sold out, which is fantastic because they've not even announced their headline band or anything like that yet. So it's already sold out. But again, it's such a fantastic atmosphere, so well ran and so on. 5,000 tickets or whatever it is gone in a couple of months. Originally, I think they sold half their quota when they only had 2 or 3 bands announced, or rumors anyway of who was playing and so on. Fantastic, good for them.
Yeah.
And then we've started hearing the rumors about AC/DC touring. And there's a chance AC/DC will be playing Wembley Stadium, which is where they normally play when they come into this country, because they don't do a whole tour anymore. They're too big. They play stadiums. There's a slight chance that AC/DC might be playing Wembley Stadium the same weekend Stone Dead Festival is on. I will be devastated if I have to make that decision. So for Christmas, I would just like them to not, AC/DC to not play the UK the weekend of Stone Dead, because I will be heartbroken having to make that choice.
Or if some Wembley tickets landed in your lap.
What, for AC/DC?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know nothing's been announced yet, so nothing's been announced yet. So it's all rumor and innuendo at the moment. But it's AEW. Sharon just saying in the chat there, it's not going to happen. AEW is that week. AEW are playing Wembley that Sunday night.
Oh, you'd bump AEW for AC/DC, surely.
Well, potentially, but they've already got the place set up. They've booked, haven't they?
It don't matter. They've got a contract with Warner Brothers Discovery, and WWE is steaming in and getting rid of
that's true.
AEW's TV deal. AC/DC had some bad news, didn't they, this week as well?
The original drummer passed away.
Yeah.
But I mean, he is somebody who would have been playing a long time ago, back in the club days, as opposed to when they started. Really, So I mean, I wasn't familiar
seeing
with.
it. I thought that's quite sad. I thought, is it Colin Burgess or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with the guy's name, so that shows how
much you give a shit.
Well, no, but Maxie, don't make me like that. You bastard. But no, that's kind of it, really, mate. I'll tell you what I would like for Christmas, actually, to not have to fucking work it.
Tough. Just ring it.
Oh dear. Shall we scan through the chat now, Magsy, and see how much Connor's pissed everyone off? Or
well, you say everyone, you mean just Sharon?
Yeah,
because he's actually having a dig at you now. He's saying now that United is a small club, currently looking down at them sitting in first place. Well, Arsenal are bottle jobs though, so let's see.
I see. When he's United is a small club, currently looking down on them sitting in first. I didn't twig that he meant Arsenal. I was so confused by that comment.
Yeah, because he's what we would call a plastic, isn't it? He's
a
fan of Arsenal because they're winning.
Okay. I mean, he's had an Arsenal badge on his Twitter for quite a while, mind. But I mean, you say about United not being a big club. I mean, you do realise football didn't start 6-7 years ago, Connor, don't you? You can do a bit of research, mate.
He was still playing hockey in those days.
Right.
Sharon says, Connor, you can call United a lot of things, but one of these is most certainly not a small club. In terms of finances, they're probably still the biggest club in the world in terms of generating revenue. But
our revenue. I think it's only Real Madrid that create more than us revenue-wise, isn't it?
It's just they're having a bad time on the pitch, and these things come in ebbs and flows, don't they? So it won't be long before Man United are back in the upper echelon of the Premier League.
Obviously, I don't want to turn this into a football podcast. We have other people who are more than capable of covering it on the network and do so very, very well. But the issue we have is all that revenue is being generated by the club, and will always be generated by the club because we are such a club of such a massive stature and history and so on. But it's just getting swallowed up by the debt that the Glazers used to buy the
servicing that debt.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
horrible.
and they're taking millions and millions of pounds out of that club every year to line their own pockets.
Yeah,
On top of the debts. So it's that's where the big revenue is going.
I saw that Gary Lineker recently mentioned that the stadium is falling into disrepair as well. There's parts of the stadium that are getting to be dangerously unsafe.
Yeah, because I've been looked after.
Yeah, and this is the biggest, or potentially one of the biggest clubs in the world. And like I said, the money's servicing debt. So yeah, it's some dark times. But as soon as they get rid of Glazers, I think you'll see a big shift in Man United's fortunes on the pitch.
I hope
in
so.
latter news, Sharon says the bird is arriving on the 22nd. The chicken is arriving on the... Do you get like a freshly delivered chicken for Christmas?
No, me father-in-law, who's an absolute diamond bloke.
Apologies,
he normally gets the meat for us. Like, and I mean, sometimes it's so big it doesn't quite get in the oven and shit. So he doesn't.
Might
he
be
doesn't
telling you it's a chicken, but it's really a turkey.
No, it's definitely a chicken.
Sharon says we have broccoli. I love it.
Yes.
So you have broccoli on your Christmas.
Yeah, I like broccoli.
It's not traditional though, is it?
Is it not
on Christmas dinner? No.
No. Oh, okay.
Same like with cauliflower.
No. We don't have cauliflower because I don't think Sharon likes cauliflower, but I do like cauliflower. Do you have bread sauce, Magsy?
I'm not a huge fan of it. I prefer cranberry.
Yeah, I mean, I have cranberry and bread sauce.
I feel bread sauce is too stodgy.
Mm.
You already have a lot of carbs with the potatoes, mashed potato and roasted potatoes.
Do you know what? Actually, with bread sauce, Sharon always gets bread sauce for me at Christmas. Always makes it, and it's literally the one day of the year when I eat it. And I think I don't even think about it until Christmas rolls around again. I go, oh yeah, bread sauce. Then when I'm eating it, I'm like, it's not that great, is it? But then next year comes around, I'm like, oh yeah, bread sauce. It's just on this constant 12-month loop with me.
Yeah, it's just it's the rose-colored glasses. Same with pigs in blankets. Pigs in blankets are good, but they're essentially sausage and bacon. Now, who hasn't ever eaten a sausage and bacon sandwich? It's exactly the same thing, but we make this big deal of pigs in blankets over at Christmas.
I bought 3 boxes of frozen pigs and blankets on the food shop the other week.
3?
Yeah.
How many per box? Please say like 6 a box.
There's like 12. It's 12 in a box.
36 sausages wrapped in bacon.
I've definitely got 2, maybe 3. And also there's a couple of packs of frozen stuffing balls, which is ridiculous because Sharon makes her own stuffing. But Charlie, honestly, this is crazy as well. When it comes to roast dinners and stuff like Christmas dinner, Charlie, if you gave her a bowl of stuffing, she'd be happy. That's her favorite.
I adore stuffing. It's so good. So with the sausages, are you going to be part of the plating up? Like 1 sausage for Liv and 1 for me, 1 for Charlie and 1 for me.
No, there's not enough room.
1 for me.
There's not enough room in our kitchen for more than 1 person, mate, to do that. It's Sharon sorts that out. But I mean, I didn't buy these pigs and blankets with Christmas in mind. I just bought them
pre-Christmas. You bought these as like a sitting and watching wrestling snack, didn't you? Bowl of pigs in blankets.
Yeah.
Sharon, can you butter me a couple of slices of bread?
Well, this is it. I have a sausage sandwich on a Saturday, don't I, with a dog. So, excuse me.
That's amazing. Just shoveling pailfuls of sausage and bacon into your mouth. Brilliant.
Trying to avoid my curry burn in the corner of my mouth.
Connor says, I need to stop shitting on United before I get blocked by Sharon. And then says, I was told that we were going on an extended spring break on a Friday before the shutdown. Next thing I know, Monday, a stay-at-home order was given, and I did the same thing every day for 3 months. Oh, yeah, it was fucking grim. I hated lockdown. Absolutely hated it.
See, this is the thing. Sorry, Maxie, go on.
No, I had finished.
Okay. This is the thing. I think we were quite fortunate, me, Sharon, and the girls. There was hardships to it. My eldest daughter lived elsewhere, so I didn't see her properly for a long time. My son lived with his girlfriend during lockdown, so we didn't see him properly for a long time. And obviously, we're not seeing my sister, who I'm very close with, my mum and dad, my in-laws, and so on. But I was in quite a bad place with regards to the job I had. It had made me ill, effectively. It got shut down. We all got laid off because of COVID and so on. So that was me out of work, and it was the first time that I really sort of, for want of a better phrase, got better from that, without having that pressure and stress from that particular role. It was literally me, Sharon, and the two youngest in the house. And I'll be honest with you, it was lovely. It was, for me, it was lovely. Because I was at home with my wife and my two. Obviously, I want my other kids around as well, but circumstances dictated that wasn't functionable. But it was lovely, because I was out of that stressful situation, and then at home with Sharon, my two youngest, for so long. It was a complete, like that change of atmosphere for me. So that worked out well for me. But I understand for so many other people, it was just absolutely horrific.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really positive way to look at it. It's almost like a mental health reset for you.
Yeah.
That's really, really, really positive. Back to the chat. Sharon says Liv's immune system is shot to poop, but then she was always the COVID giver. Yeah, it's genuinely killed me. I have no immune system now because of COVID. It's ridiculous. Sharon says,
patient zero, weren't she?
just every time you thought you got rid of it, she'd be like, "Ta-da! I'm ill again."
Well, again, no, this is how weird it was. I've said before on the show, so I don't want to go over it too many times. But Liv had COVID 3 times. 3 times she brought it in the house. On each occasion, Charlie, who shared a bedroom with her, didn't catch it.
That's mental.
So strange.
Yeah.
And it's not like our house is big enough to avoid people. I keep saying our house is very, very small. But Charlie, I don't know if she was immune or what, but she never got it. Touch wood,
She may have just been asymptomatic, where she got it but showed no symptoms of it.
Well, no, because it would still show up on a test, wouldn't it? She was positive.
Yeah, as it would, yeah.
And we were all testing a great deal. We even went down to one of these test centers that was like a scene from the fucking X-Files. That was horrific, but it was what it was, wasn't it? So
yeah. Sharon says your Christmas bird is specially ordered from the butcher.
It is.
And then she says cabbage and bacon isn't traditional for others, but it is for us. Bacon on a roast dinner.
It's cut up and fried a bit. The bacon and the cabbage are fried together.
Oh, yeah. So I get that. Like lardons.
Like what?
Like little bits of bacon is chopped really finely to mix it with something. It's called lardons.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. Not with a H. There isn't a silent H on the beginning of that.
That's what I thought you said.
Lardon.
That's what I thought you said. It was like, bacon. Like hard-ons. I was like, what are you on about?
Definitely lardons. Bacon with Brussels sprouts is apparently nice, but Brussels sprouts, I will never, ever agree with that vegetable.
Air fryer, mate.
No deal. Sharon says she hasn't got bread sauce yet, so you might not be getting it.
I'd probably be okay with it, to be fair.
Just extra cranberry. That's all you need. And Sharon says, not going to lie, she loved lockdown. And then Sharon says, yes, sir, it is.
There we go.
Or isn't.
Well, Simon also said Eddie didn't have the same moves. Was Eddie in?
Eddie from Street Fighter. I'm assuming.
Street Fighter. Yeah. No, the people in Street Fighter had different moves.
Punches and kicks, no matter how you dress it up, are always going to be basically the same.
No, hang on. Right, the little green dude, Blanca, was it on Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Right. If you press the punch button with him, he'd go out with his fucking claws and be like, rah, But if you press the same punch button with Guile or Ken, they do like a punch.
Oh yeah, fair.
Right. On Mortal Kombat, you press the punch button with Sub-Zero, it was exactly the same punch as
They're all humanoid style characters, though.
Yeah, but it was all incredibly similar, wasn't it? That first Mortal Kombat.
Oh no, not at all.
No?
It was groundbreaking.
No, again, it looked amazing. We had it on the arcade machine at the leisure center, and I thought it looked amazing. But I'm gonna have to try and look it up. I might be completely wrong. My memory's not the greatest, as we know. So
Yeah, I don't think Sharon's memory is the greatest as well. She's put Eddie from Mortal Kombat. He was the street dancer. No, that's definitely Eddie Gordo. That's from Tekken.
Tekken.
Yeah.
Okay. See, Tekken was like the next one along as well, wasn't it? After Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, that one came along a bit later, didn't it?
That was the 3D era. That's
Right.
when games moved into the 3D. Yeah, she's totally out of the conversation now. That's a totally different kettle of fish.
See, Tekken, I remember people. I think my brother had Tekken. I remember watching him play it and thinking that looks amazing, but not wanting to have a go because by that point I wasn't computer orientated anymore. I was done, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I preferred the 2D fighting games. When it got into 3D, it wasn't really for me.
Yeah, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, that's the best.
I prefer Mortal Kombat, but in terms of Street Fighter games, I think the alpha games are so much better than the original Street Fighter ones.
Alpha?
Yeah, Street Fighter Alpha.
I don't know what that is.
Doesn't matter. It's just the 2D. They're the same kind of 2D graphics, but just bigger rosters, a lot better moves, better combos, faster, a lot faster. So,
I don't want it faster, Maxi. Oh no, I don't want it faster. I can't keep up.
Wow. You want it slow, like the original Street Fighter.
I had Street Fighter 1 on the Spectrum.
Jesus, that was a horrid game.
It was
surprised. I'm surprised it got a sequel after that game because that was dog shit.
It was really bad. And if you got your opponent in the corner, and then obviously the Spectrum, you only had like, you know, a couple of buttons or the joystick, didn't you? Like one button, and you know, if you got your opponent in the corner, crouch down and use like the low kick button, you'd kick them, they'd fly in the air, they'd land, you kick them again, they fly in the air, they'd land, they couldn't get out of it, and you'd win every fight. The only downside was every time you won a fight, you'd have to press play on the tape deck to load the next opponent on the Spectrum because it was so, you know,
old school computing was horrific, man.
Yeah, it wasn't. Oh, my dad went up in the attic the other day and found loads of old toys and pictures and all sorts. So next time I go around there, I'm going to see if the Spectrum's up there.
And bring it home and live stream you're playing on your Spectrum.
Yeah, Jet Set Willy, mate. Brilliant game.
Manic Manor.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, so good. So good.
You can play all them on a computer now, anyway. You can literally play them in your browser.
Yeah, you said to me about this. But I don't think I would now play Jet Set Willy again because I found out in recent years. No, I found out in recent years that you can't complete it.
Yeah, that is true. But you never did anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
No, I spent hours playing that game, man. And I feel robbed now.
The fact that you never completed it wasn't your fault because you were shit at it. It was definitely because you couldn't actually complete it.
Yeah, this is it. Little white stick man, walking along like that. It was great.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't great. Let's be honest. You look back, it was shit. But it was
at the time, it was amazing.
Yeah. There we go. So that's all caught up with in the chat, Maxi. I suppose we better talk a bit of wrestling. I suppose, haven't we?
Let's do it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I won a poll. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You're on a bit of a run with this.
What, 2 in a row, isn't it? I think.
Is it 2, 3, maybe? I think.
No, it feels like more because we missed a week 8.
That is true. Yeah.
Yes, but I won a poll with another TNA match. TNA Victory Road, the main event. Mick Foley taking on Kurt Angle for the TNA World Heavyweight title from 2009. Interesting story going into this, I think, with regards to the main event Mafia. Mick Foley was the executive shareholder, which is basically the commissioner, I suppose.
Yeah, essentially commissioner.
Yes. And he was the world champion at the same time, but was doing that role as a babyface, which is a little bit backwards, I think, to how things are normally done in wrestling, but
Yeah.
it works. It's Mick Foley. He lost the title to Kurt Angle at the previous pay-per-view. Said he wanted to have his rematch. Kurt Angle said there's something in his contract that says he chooses his next opponent. So they kind of bargained against each other, didn't they? And bartered back and forth. And for Foley to get his rematch for the world title, Foley had to put the rest of the main event Mafia in matches against the other champions in TNA. So effectively, before the main event started, the main event Mafia, the likes of Booker T, Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash, and so on, picked up all of the gold in TNA, didn't they? Which I love that. I love seeing a stable with all of the championships. It's great.
Yeah, just dominating the whole of the company. It works sometimes. I think in recent times when Undisputed Era dominated NXT, it kind of worked. But this just felt like a load of wrestlers not willing to give up their spots.
Yes.
That
was kind of the gimmick, wasn't it?
Yeah, I get it, but the TNA at this time had a wealth of young, hungry stars in the making. I mean, they had some really talented wrestlers, and then putting all of the titles on the old guard just felt like a slap in the face to those younger wrestlers who were making a name for themselves in TNA. Just it felt a bit like wrestlers using their stroke to keep their spots.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I feel again with similar to how we looked at something from TNA in a previous episode, we're looking at kind of the middle of something here.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm again, Dan Griffin's, Scottish Danny, and so on are TNA fans. They'll probably let us know, but I feel that this was being set up for the younger guys, the TNA originals, as they call them, to go on and get eventually. But that's what I would hope. But quite possibly, the way wrestling works, they might not actually get that to happen. The only issue I've got is that the TNA originals. We're getting it billed by Mike Tenay on commentary as Mick Foley is representing the TNA originals here, but he's of a very similar ilk to the main event Mafia with regards to stature, former companies that he's worked for, and age, isn't he?
If anything, he was the least original of all the participants because I think he'd only been in the company 9 months at this point.
Right, okay.
So he was less original than the actual main event Mafia. Which is very, very ironic.
Do you remember, it's a little bit of a side step, I suppose, do you remember AJ Styles going all dark and scary in TNA?
Vaguely. I vaguely remember it. He's not a natural heel, I don't know.
No.
Which is very ironic considering he's just turned heel on SmackDown this week.
Oh, I see. I didn't see that. I watched the Punk bits from SmackDown, but
he turned on LA Knight, I think it was.
So that's what they're going to be doing at Mania then, I'm assuming.
Yeah, because CM Punk coming back means LA Knight won't be in the title picture. So you've got to give him something to do.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Looking forward to Punk Rollins at WrestleMania, mate, after Punk wins the Rumble. Oh, yeah.
I think that's the logical way to go.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, this is in the 6-sided ring. And I've watched a lot of TNA back in the day. I've watched a lot of TNA since. For some reason, I don't know if it's because it's Mick Foley in there, but for some reason, this looked weird to me for the first time. The 6-sided ring looked strange to me. Okay. And normally it doesn't bother me at all. I don't know if it was because it was Foley in there, and I'm not used to seeing Foley in a TNA ring, or I don't remember much of the time in TNA. I don't know. But it just felt a bit strange to me.
Yeah, I always liked the uniqueness of TNA's 6-sided ring. Thought it brought something new to the product. I can understand if you've seen a wrestler who you've predominantly seen in a 4-sided ring for the last 20 odd years. Yeah, it can look a bit jarring to see him in a 6-sided ring, I suppose. Yeah,
I mean, I love the 6-sided ring. Don't get me wrong, but on this occasion, I don't know whether the camera angle was a bit different or it just didn't feel the same for some reason. I don't know what it was, but there we go. Kurt here, he doesn't look the best, does he?
So they build him as 240 pounds.
No chance.
he looked like a cruiserweight. He's lost all his muscle mass. He's got no chest whatsoever now. He's literally got a chest like Kofi Kingston. It's like it's caved in. His face is all drawn in. He looks like he's definitely struggling with some sort of demons in this match.
And we spoke about Kurt Angle and his issues in the past, and Kurt's been very open about them on his own podcast and interviews and so on himself. But we spoke about that time in his career in the past here on the show, and I've never really noticed it affecting him in the ring. Sorry, excuse me. I've never really noticed it in the ring affecting him. It affects how he looks, and it affects especially his eyes. I think sometimes he looks zoned out at times. In this match, I don't think we're seeing the best of Kurt Angle here. So he being affected? Not. Is he being affected here a little bit, Magsy? Are those issues coming into play in ring here? Maybe.
It's hard to say. I don't think Kurt was the biggest letdown in this match. I think for me, he was doing the best with what he had in there. This to me was proof that Fawley, his time as a main event wrestler was done. Yeah. I mean, to jump ahead a little bit, I felt that this match was very slow, very plodding. And to say we spoke about Kurt earlier in the show, waxing lyrical about how he can fight any style of wrestling. He can keep up pace with the best of them. I mean, he did the hour-long Iron Man match with Brock Lesnar, and that pace was phenomenal. This felt like they were stuck in first gear all the way through the match. There was no point where the pace picked up and the two wrestlers looked like they were as good as they've been in decades past. This felt slow and plodding, and I can understand Angle being partly to blame for that, but I certainly think a lot of the blame was that Fawley was just past it at this time.
Yeah, without a doubt. You mentioned there about it being quite slow, and that's literally the first note I've got. It's a slow start. Angle goes to the outside quite a bit as well, walks around the ring. It's the stalling tactic of the heel champion, isn't it? Which I quite enjoy. Ric Flair was a master of this back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the typical mid-80s main event match. You get a couple of lockups, and the face will beat the heel to the punch, who then goes outside to get a breath of fresh air and stalling. It starts like a typical mid-80s main event match.
Yeah, definitely. Mick Foley applies a front face lock early on as well. I'm not trying to belittle Foley here, but when Ric Flair once referenced him as not a wrestler, more of a stuntman, I don't go as far as what Flair said in my own thoughts on Mick Foley, but I can see how he got to that, that declaration, I guess, that insult he threw Foley's way.
Yeah.
So when you see Foley pulling out, I mean, in this match, he pulls out a couple of Fujiwara arm bars, a couple of front face locks, and so on. It's not stuff that I'm used to seeing from Mick Foley, really, which is, quite interesting seeing something different. But at the same time, it did slow things down again, didn't it, Magsy?
It stood out like a sore thumb. And being in the ring with someone as technically proficient as Kurt, it did show that Foley was essentially a brawl style wrestler.
Yeah.
And that Kurt, in terms of wrestling knowledge, would wrestle absolute rings around Foley.
Yeah, without a doubt. We do eventually get both of them on the outside, and we have a bit of a fight there. And as Kurt Angle's coming back into the ring, Foley hits a leg drop across the back of his neck. And we then start having Foley work the neck and so on, and the arm, because of these issues that Angle has with his neck, and he spoke in a pre-match interview about seeing Kurt having pins and needles in his hands and so on. And we know that these things did happen to Angle, so I like the way they're bringing real life into the story here.
Yeah.
But again, it's almost a little bit heel-like from Foley, who's supposed to be the baby face here. And we do get quite a few Kurt Angle chants from the TNA crowd as well, don't we, during this match? And they're supposed to be the big evil heel faction, Mags, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that this was probably more the fact that Foley wasn't a TNA original, that he'd only been in the company 9 months, and he'd been strong-armed into the main event scene. I think a lot of TNA fans were perhaps not best pleased with that, and he Foley was the reason why this match was so slow-paced. So I think it's a lot of maybe frustration on the part of TNA fans, and it's hard to genuinely hate Kurt Angle, no matter who his opponent is, because he's so damn good.
Yeah.
Watching him as a neutral, you cannot help but be impressed by him. So it is hard for him to be a genuine dad in the wool shithead heel, I suppose. And especially when this opponent is not exactly the biggest face in the world.
Yeah, totally. It's almost like the Flair factor, isn't it, of '89, where Flair was so good. He was wrestling as a heel against Steamboat. By the time that trilogy was over, he was a babyface because he was so good. Yeah, it's that kind of similar sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah. Kurt Angle does take control here, though, after he goes after the eyes. Again, a very Ric Flair kind of thing, I guess.
With the eye, Rick.
Yep. And he's in control for a short period. It's very punchy, kicky from Kurt, though, isn't it? It's nothing too spectacular. I mean, he does tease a German suplex at one point, doesn't actually go for it. Before Mick Foley slingshots Kurt Angle over the top rope, he takes a bit of an awkward looking bump. Foley teases a pile driver on the outside before getting backdropped onto the steel steps. Now,
Foley has to take the stairs shot. You know what
always.
He's like. Every match, he has to attack the stairs.
Always. And he gets his head run into them a couple of times as well. Now, obviously, I watched this on YouTube because the whole event is available for free on YouTube.
Yep.
But my sound on the video wasn't synced perfectly with the footage, with the image.
Okay.
I wonder if this took a little bit away for me from what I was watching, because the shot into the steps, the slingshot, the back body drop, and then the 2 times Foley's head got rammed into the steps, the noise didn't sync up with what I was seeing, so it didn't seem as dramatic or as bad, I suppose, as they were trying to get across, Magsy, to me.
The sound seemed in sync on mine. So yeah, I mean, maybe that was just like you said, you're seeing the action, and then I'm assuming the sound came later on.
Yeah, like a second or so.
That would be very take you out of the story, I suppose. Yeah.
Mick Foley in the ring again. We mentioned the Fujiwara armbar he goes for. This gets countered into an ankle lock. But this
was a brilliant counter.
Oh yes,
really good counter by Kurt Angle.
And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, he's going for the ankle lock already, and then Foley gets out of this, and then Kurt goes for the beautiful top rope moonsault he does. I'm thinking, are we racing towards the finish already here?
Yeah, I mean, I would have probably been happy if they did. That like I said, that reversal into the ankle lock was sublime, and then Foley absolutely ruins it with the weakest rollout of the ankle lock in history. It's so bad that you can see that Kurt is doing pretty much all of the work of kicking out of Foley kicking out of that ankle lock. It just Foley was just so disappointed in this match.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we get the gorgeous moonsault, which unfortunately doesn't land. And then we go to Mr. Socko. Brilliant.
Well, he hits the double arm DDT as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That was his finish as well for a 2 count. Then Socko comes out, I've never got on with Socko, mate. I've never.
I like Socko as a comedy character. As a wrestling move in a match, it's senseless.
Yeah. I mean, I'll even go as far as to say I prefer the Cobra from Morella to
The
Socko.
Cobra from Cobra is amazing,
Yeah.
especially when it was hypnotized by Jinder Mahal and the Great Khali.
Oh, it was
That was
such
brilliant.
bollocks, but it was brilliant bollocks, wasn't it?
And the only way to escape it was to have the Cobra bar Santino Marella. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I love the Cobra.
Sadly, Socko isn't the only silliness we see now, because we are very quickly racing towards the finish. We get a ref bump, and the ref tumbles to the floor like he's been picked off by a sniper. Yeah, exactly. Yep. We get an angle slam, and then the ref wakes up again like nothing's happened. There was no selling from the referee. He's up like lightning to go and count the angle slam, gets to 2. Foley kicks out to not a great reaction. My sound wasn't completely well synced, but I don't think the crowd.
It was cricket.
I don't think they're buying the near falls, Magsy, are they?
No. They've quickly learned that this match is not as good as it probably would have been 10 years previously.
Yeah, definitely. Kurt Angle then elbow drops the referee.
Poor ref. So just about recovering from being bumped into by Foley and then gets an elbow drop for his trouble. That's disqualification, surely to God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought. When he came round, surely he's just going to DQ him. But obviously not. Kurt goes and grabs a chair from the outside, gets into the ring, but gets hit with a mandible claw. Kurt Angle then falls to the outside again here, Magsy, doesn't he? Is that correct?
Yeah, he's forced towards the ropes, and he ends up falling to the outside, and it looks like he bangs his elbow like really roughly on the apron.
And then that's when we get Mick Foley doing the elbow drop from the apron to the floor, which is a throwback to the previous pay-per-view when Foley hit a big elbow drop and affected Kurt. So they've sort of foreshadowed that a little bit in the pre-match interviews. Mick Foley then, we get a 2 count from that when he actually rolls Angle back into the ring. And then Mick Foley applies a weird kind of mandible claw stroke $1 Million Dream stroke leg scissors submission effort.
It looked unique.
Yeah,
it almost kind of looked like a Shayna Baszler, Fujiwara Loco or whatever her finishing move is called, but with an added mandible claw.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, probably the best thing Foley did in the match, to be fair.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Yeah. This ends up, getting scruffily countered and maneuvered out of before.
I think Angle literally just punches his way out of it.
Yeah.
And
slaps on the ankle lock, though.
Slap on the ankle lock. Yeah.
Foley gets to the ropes just about before Angle slaps it on again, and this time he drops to the floor, grapevine to the leg, and so on. And Foley has to take Mr. Socko off his hand to show that he's tapping out.
Yeah.
And I was, that's it then. Okay. And that was it. The main event Mafia come down, celebrate with all their titles as Foley lies in the ring looking sorry for himself, and that's the end of the show.
Yeah, they don't even lay the boot in like a normal heel faction would. They're just crowing about winning all of the gold, and Foley just looks like a shell of the wrestler that he used to be.
Yeah. Out of 10, Magsy, what are you thinking?
This was gash. Not gonna lie, this was absolute gash. You have a clearly impaired Angle, and he's still able to wrestle rings around Mick Foley. This Mick Foley in matches of this caliber, it just looks sad.
Yeah.
It looks like a wrestler who just can't let go of his glory days. Now, I'm not for any stretch of the imagination saying Mick Foley is one of those guys. I don't believe he is for a minute, but he was well past his prime. He was he looked like an old man trying to relive his youth. So yeah, this match was just sad. It was just sad to watch. But it had Kurt Angle in, and Kurt Angle's fucking brilliant. So I'm gonna give it a 3, I think.
A 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've gone a little bit higher. A couple of moments in it, I didn't. The moonsault from Kurt Angle's fantastic. You know, the counter into the ankle lock was fantastic. The weird submission thing that Foley did was quite unique and interesting. In a weird way, the fact it didn't go on too long was a positive for it, because I don't think I could have watched half an hour of
but
it.
I was hoping for a finish for about 5 minutes before it actually happened.
I've gone 5 with this.
You have been very generous there.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't think I would go back and watch it again. And it was pretty crap, but it wasn't the worst thing we've watched by a long stretch of the imagination. So
it's close for me. It's close, just because I know how much better both of these can be.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
like Steiner and Booker, it was always going to be dog shit, no matter the stipulation. But this should have been better. Should have been a lot better.
I wonder if they've had any other matches that are better. They must have somewhere.
Oh, that's an interesting thing to look at. Let's have I'm going to just check cage match, I think.
Okay. They must have. I mean, they were in WWE at the same time. They had a crossover there, didn't they? Obviously, they're in TNA here. There must have been a crossover. They wrestled at least one more occasion that's better than this.
Yeah, they must have, but I'm just on cage match now. Just got Kurt Angle in. Let's have a look. Mick Foley. Huh. Wow. So it looks like they've wrestled in the same match 17 times, or they've been involved in the same match 17 times. No WWE matches.
Oh,
so
okay.
They're involved at Unforgiven 2000 when Mick Foley was the ref for Triple H versus Kurt Angle. They were in the Rumble together in 2004. Mick Foley was then the referee again when Kurt Angle faced Cena on Raw, and then it was 2008 Bound for Glory. He was the special enforcer 3 times in a row. 4 times in a row. So the first time they actually
4 times.
The first time they were involved in a non-Royal Rumble match as opponents, or it was 2009. Jeff Jarrett and Mick Foley beat Kurt Angle and Sting. Jesus.
Okay. That's crazy, isn't it? Because two guys who are probably in roughly the same area of the card with both companies, with all the companies they've worked in. But had plenty of crossover time in different companies, and they're not really faced off against each other at all. That's quite crazy.
Just in TNA. They've just fought each other in TNA, that's it.
Okay. Magsy, where would you like to go next week? Well, not next week, next year, shall we say.
I felt sad watching this, and I know that Kurt Angle can do so much better. So the link for me is Kurt Angle. And
nice.
I looked on Cage Match, and some of his best matches we've either covered or they involve a certain murder-suicider. So we try and avoid those. But there is a few out there that are still amazing matches that we haven't even had a sniff at. Now, did you know Kurt Angle's never had a 5-star match in the Dave Meltzer wanky rankings?
It's because Dave Meltzer's a fucking melt.
He's had a lot of 4+ star matches though, and one of them is one we have not covered at all. It's on that. Sorry, I'm really sorry, Maxie, but on that topic, how the fuck is Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21 not a 5-star match? Fuck you, Meltzer. it's 4 3/4. So he's got 3 4 3/4 matches. Kurt Angle versus Michaels, Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle, and Benoit and Kurt Angle versus Edge and Rey Mysterio are all 3 3/4 match.
Okay.
3 3/4, 4 3/4 star matches. But I want to go down his list a little bit to a 4.5 star match.
Okay.
This was Judgment Day 2002. It was Edge versus Kurt Angle in a hair versus hair match. And the reason I went to this match is because it leads to some of the best hair-based comedy angles in the history of wrestling.
With the ear protectors and the
Yes, and the wig.
it's so good. It's so funny. And if that wins, we'll cover some of those as well. I expect, no doubt, because it is just comedy gold. Oh man, that's an Angle with hair. Now I bet will look so strange when we see him.
Well, his hair in this match, in this falling match, it's like old man hair. He's clearly going bald, but he's got the Friar Tuck like part growing around. Yeah, it's either with Kurt hair or bald. Don't go in between.
Oh, that's a great shot, Max. I've not seen that in years either. That's a great shot.
I know. It's such a good match.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. I do have to put something up against it though. And I looked down the card here to see who else was wrestling on this particular pay, or who else was involved, or just ringside or anything like that on this particular TNA pay-per-view. My eyes were straight away drawn to Velvet Sky, of course, but we're a wrestling podcast, so probably best skirting away from that. And I noticed the name Magnus, who we now know as Nick Aldis.
Mm-hmm.
And Magnus was part of the British Invasion, or whatever they were called, with Rob Terry and so on, wrestling in a tag team match here. And I thought, well, we've not really seen anything from Nick Aldis or Magnus, to my knowledge. There must be something we can talk about there. And my mind straight away went to the NWA World Title, because I think he ended up restoring a little bit of prestige. Yeah, he
carried
that 10 pounds of gold title belt. The suits, the way he carried himself, he felt like a proper NWA champion, like an 80s NWA champion. He was really good in that role. I would like to see, if the vote goes my way, Nick Aldis taking on Cody Rhodes at the All In pay-per-view from September the 1st, 2018, which obviously then went on to kick off AEW and so on. Because All In has popped up in quite a few conversations for me recently. I mean, partially on this show and then on other shows as well, and then talking to the wife as well. In that, I bet I've not seen it since the day it aired. That pay-per-view.
Yeah, I've seen separate matches since, but I haven't watched the pay-per-view all the way through since.
I'd like to go. I mean, this is the match I'm picking for next week if it wins. But I also think it'd be really interesting just to scan through the card, see who was involved in that pay-per-view, where they've ended up now, and so on. I mean, that could be quite an interesting way to look at it. But also, I remember it being a good old school, almost NWA style match.
Yeah,
in 2018.
With one part of it which sticks out like a sore thumb as, Jesus, that's rough.
I don't remember that. What's that?
The corded blading, which needed everybody to come out from the back because he literally just couldn't blade. He was underneath, I think, a table at one time, and he just couldn't do it at all. Yeah.
Okay. Again, so interesting to talk about. So that's what I'm putting forward, mate. The NWA World Title match from All In. Nick Aldis versus Cody Rhodes. Or the other option is, of course, hair versus hair, Angle versus Edge, Judgment Day 2002. Make sure you are voting and retweeting the poll later in the week on our Twitter account, or X, or whatever it's bloody well called now. And then that will decide where we head to on our next episode of Chain Wrestling Live, Mags.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome stuff. Shall we have a quick look to see if anything has been put in the chat before we discuss a little bit about somebody telling some porky pies?
Okay, but there's only been 2, and it's by your good lady, Sharon. She says, my vote is for Cy on this one. And then she says, I know that Dan's is too. So it looks like we're getting that match.
She's been sarcastic with the Dan comment because he hates Cody, doesn't he? He hates Cody.
Yeah,
Sharon takes great joy in sending him Cody Rhodes gifts quite often.
Just winding him up.
Yeah.
She just loves winding him up.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Are we going for some Hogan news
yes,
now?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Liar, pants on fire, hanging from a telephone wire. Squirming, pants are burning. When I lie, my hips start turning.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Look, man, I made a mistake.
That was an awkward silence.
That was. But you did that thing where you sort of go, you obviously don't know this because you won't be seeing it. But whenever you're about to press a button to do something, you sort of do a thing where your head goes down a little bit.
Okay.
So that's what you did then.
I forgot to load up my Word document with all my Hogan lies on it. That's what it was. So I was quickly and quite sneakily loading it up. So thanks for calling me out on that. Anyway,
sorry, mate.
this week's Billy bullshit from Hulk Hogan was that he once claimed that he was blackballed from Hollywood because he turned down a gay producer's advances in the 1980s, but then was also in some quite big movies in the 1990s. So that doesn't kind of ring true, Mr. Hulk Hogan.
No. Oh, he's such a knobhead. Dear me.
But this week, we've actually got a Brucey bonus Hulk Hogan lie, and this was submitted by our good friend King Pig's Bladders.
Magsie's coughing his guts up again. Look. Nearly made it all the way through the show. Got a bit of a cough at the beginning, but it's coming back now, Magsy, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's just COVID. I hate it. It's just grim. Anyway, this may not be quite true. But I love the way that King Pig's Bad has expanded on it. So Hogan has said recently that when he was asked about modern wrestlers, his comments were, "You've got guys now that look like they should be bagging my groceries." Yeah. So Photoshop wizard King Pig's Bad, as he tends to do, has got a picture of said grocery bagger. He's put on a very old school picture of Hulk Hogan's face on this character with the comb over hairstyle and everything. And he's put, whilst juggling avocados and a cereal box, a 15-year-old Hulk Hogan realized humanity needed a hero, and he became the first ever grocery bagger. Word spread, and soon every checkout line hummed with his bagging wisdom. His mantra was, "Bananas don't cuddle with canned beans." So that's amazing. Thank you very much, King Pig's Banners. Just absolutely made me laugh out loud when I saw it.
Yeah, he does some great stuff, doesn't he? Absolutely brilliant.
He does.
Magsy, I suppose that's it for this week, my friend. That's it for this week. And I think potentially, maybe, for this year.
Yeah, well, I'm sure discussions will happen behind closed doors, but yeah,
we can't go 2 weeks, can we? That'd be 3 weeks. It'll
weird.
be
it'd be weird.
We'll have to think of something.
Yeah, but in case we don't, I want to wish every member of the CWF, whether new or old, anyone who's ever listened or watched any of our Absolute Trap, whatever holiday you prescribe to, whether it be Christmas, Hanukkah, Diwali, Festivus, whichever one of them, I hope you have a great time over the next couple of weeks. And if you don't see us over the holiday period, hurry back over New Year, because you guys have made our year amazing, and hopefully that'll carry on well into 2024 and beyond.
Indeed. I second everything there, Maxie. But I think we'll probably sneak something out at some point, won't we? Everyone have to keep their eyes out on our social media.
We'll see.
We'll see. Where can people find you online, my friend?
At TikTok, Pod Farmer Mags, where you'll get regular updates about my chickens, who definitely will not be eaten at my table over this Christmas period. Or on Twitter at Pod Farmer Mags, where I will usually ghost you until weeks afterwards, and then the message that you sent me would be probably irrelevant.
Brilliant stuff. You can find anything I'm involved in via the network that carries this show at SJP World Media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then all the usual places that carry podcasts, Spotify, Apple, all that great stuff there. And this show itself, you can find and follow on Facebook and Twitter at @chain_wrestling. And Twitter's where you need to be, really, because that's where the non-wrestling topic does get posted. I'm trying to be a bit more active on the Facebook, but I'm shit, let's be honest. So it doesn't always happen. But the poll is always going to be on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. So make sure you're chucking us a follow there at @chain_wrestling there. Oh, Bagsy, we're finishing roughly 9 minutes before the 2-hour mark. I'm going to get to bed early tonight.
We've nailed it.
We're so professional, aren't we? I'll speak to you next week, my friend.
Barry Windham will get lumps of coal for Christmas.
On a night test face the great one, this is what he'll see.
Wow.
12 sharpshooters stinging, 11 eyebrows raising, 10 spines a busting, 9 noggins knocking, 8 kicks a kicking, 7 punches punching, 6 suplex smashing, 5 seconds of the people chanting The Rock's name.
5 seconds.
4 rock bottoms, 3 people's elbows on your 2 buck teeth, and a kicking all over New Orleans.